Hello friends and welcome back to our homestead. Today I'm going to be harvesting some of these beautiful onions and we're going to be curing them. I will also mention how we plan on storing them for the winter months because some onions store better than others and some practices help you to store them a little longer than just a week or two. So true story, I think it was a year ago, we harvested onions because they all fell at the neck just like this, okay? But unfortunately, it was such a wet, rainy season that we had a hard time curing them, even though I thought I did a good job or the best job that I could possibly do. Unfortunately, some onions, especially the bigger ones, a certain variety, and I'm going to mention to you that in a minute, they lasted maybe a month and a half and they started rotting. So I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if it was too much moisture. I don't know if they didn't cure well enough, or maybe because we harvested in a very moist weather, rainy season. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just simply because it's a variety. Others lasted from July all the way till New Year. New Year's Eve, I think I cooked the last of our onions, which is a really good long time to store onions. But as a homesteader, I really love to work on a method of feeding your family for a year. That means from a season to a season. So I like to grow a few different varieties of onions. And I always have to make sure that those are the varieties for my growing zone. We are northeast in New England. It's cold, it's rainy, but yet those are the type of onions I have to pick. So we started these onions from starts. I got my onions. I ordered them online from Dixonville. I think it's called Dixonville Farms. They have fantastic starts. They came in a little bundles. I opened the package and we put them in the ground. It's important that onions are not planted very deep, and because if they are planted deep, the bulb will be very small. So this video is not about planting onions, it's more about harvesting onions and when it's time. So I'm going to bring the camera a little closer and I'm going to show you which ones I'm going to be harvesting today. And even though we planted them all on the same day, we planted them and we fertilized them all the same way and we watered them all the same way, but yet some are ready to be harvested and others are not. And I'm going to show you how I know that. So come closer. So here I have a patch of red onions. They're called Red River. By the way, all of the onions that I'm growing are onions designed for a long day because that is for our part of the country. When you're ordering from this farm, from this website, correction, the farm is called Dixondale, not Dixonville. Dixondale Farms, and they are very good at giving instructions what you should be growing and how to grow it and when it will be mature and what the storage time is and so on and so forth. So these are the red ones and they are not ready for harvesting because they are still standing up, even though I see some yellowing already of a couple of first leaves here, or stems I should say. They're really not falling over yet. They're still standing up. So they are not ready for harvesting. I have a row here of the red onions and they are not ready. So even though, like I said, I've planted them on the same day as others, but they're not ready. They're gonna need about 90 to 100 days before I harvest them. So these are Red River and they are perfect for about 4 to 5 months storage. And like I said, for me, if you store them properly, red onion lasted a very long time. I love to eat red onion fresh in salad, so on and so forth. Fantastic product. Next one over here, I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly. It's a yellow looking onion and I think it's called Ailsa Gregg. And this guy is ready for to be picked because let me show you. I'm going to show you what they look like. Do you see how they're falling over? Do you see how the neck's folding over? I did not fold them. They folded themselves. Folded, folded, folded. This one is still standing nice and strong. This one is still standing nice and strong. That means even though it is from the same family, they are not ready to fall. they are not ready to be picked. I am picking only those that are ready to be picked. They have to be very soft at the neck right here, and they should be falling over like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and simply pull them out of the soil, shake them off. Look how beautiful. And I'm gonna be storing them away, okay? Not washing them, nothing like that. So I'm gonna be pulling them away. Let me show you the other ones that I'm gonna be harvesting. Here I have a row of yellow Spanish. Yellow Spanish, I have a marker here, right here, yellow Spanish. And these guys can be stored also 3 to 4 months, but they need about 100 days before I harvest them. You can tell that even though they're drying up, but they're not ready to be harvested. So the size of the bulb has no meaning if they are ready for harvesting or not. Maybe these will never get very big. Some of them, you know, maybe a couple of inches. Where was this? Right here. Maybe a couple of inches. But see how they have not folded at the neck yet? They're still standing up. So these guys are not ready for harvesting. This guy is not ready for harvesting, even though the bulb is big. So it's not the size of the bulb that matters. What matters is whether they have folded at the bottom or not. And if they have not, they're not ready. Now this row over here, they all have fallen and folded their necks. Now those I'm going to be pulling out of the ground today. Buddy, are you going to help mama? You going to help mama? No, you're not even looking. You're avoiding eye contact. Goodness gracious, buddy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. The best time to harvest them is in the dry weather, when the soil is dry, when they're not very wet and, you know, saturated in rain. It's best to harvest them in a dry weather. But what happens if the necks are folded like this, but it's wet weather? You could wait for about a week or two before it dries up again, okay? Because they have a little bit of leeway, but not too long. I would not wait more than 2 weeks. But a couple of weeks, they can stay in the ground in a position just like this, all fallen over, before you pick them. Because the weather is very moist and just not. Because it's not good to harvest them in the wet weather. Why? Because the rain will fall between all of these stems, and it's potential for this whole bulb to rot. That happens sometimes, and it's very sad. And it happened to me when I had harvested Walla Walla last year. They were beautiful bulbs, but unfortunately they rotted because they got wet. So I'm going to be coming over here and harvesting only those that have fallen over. So it's my Highlander. I am harvesting this guy right here. He has fallen over. This one has not. I'm leaving him alone. This one has. I'm taking him. See how he has fallen over? But this guy has not. Look how straight the stem is, still nice and firm. That guy, I am not touching. I'm going to leave him alone for now. Let them sit and do his thing. This guy is ready. I'm taking this guy out. So some people do this procedure. It's called spooning. They take a spoon or a finger and they run around the bulb of the onion to allow them to be closer to the surface, and they will fall over quickly. I don't do that. I allow the rain and the water to wash away the extra soil around them. I just don't plant them deep to begin with. So I never have to do spooning. That's not my method. However, if you guys find that spooning is something that is absolutely essential, please write in the description, not a description, in the comments, to just write why you do spooning. Explain it to me, because I love to learn. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe spooning would help me to grow bigger bulbs. There's a thought. Please share your thoughts. Please share your experiences as I'm going to keep continuing pulling this out. I have a big dill here growing amongst the onion. You come over here, buddy. I'm going to be harvesting you as well. So this guy have fallen over. We're going to take him out. Fallen over, take him out. And they come out pretty easily because they're already so close to the surface. But however, if they have not fallen over, like this guy, fallen over, this guy is still standing. I'm not gonna touch him. I'm not gonna touch him at all. Not yet. Give them time. That means they have not dried up enough. They're not ready to come out of the ground. Look how pretty. Look at this massive, beautiful guy. But right next to him is a little guy, but it's okay. He's going to be now after they're out of the ground. We're not washing them. We're not cutting anything. We're not trimming anything. We need to dry them, curing. The process is called curing. And there is a little bit of discussion among gardeners. What is the best way of doing it? Some people literally pull them out and leave them on the dry ground, laying a single layer, just like this, under the open sun. But see, that would not work here in New England because we have very humid temperatures here, very humid environment. And in the morning when we go outside, everything is covered with dew, lots and lots of dew on the ground. So this morning dew potentially could could cause rot. And we don't want our hard work to go to rot. So instead, what we like to do is we like to go away from direct sunlight. It's light, but it's not in direct sunlight, where there's lots and lots of airflow. So either it is a garage, a barn, an attic. We don't want it very hot. We don't want a direct sunlight. We don't want direct heat, but obviously it's hot in the summer. So we're gonna go into our woodshed. It's empty right now. We burned all the wood last winter. We have to get more for next winter, right, babe? But this is where it's going to go. It's going to be away from the direct sunlight, where there's a lot of airflow, and we're going to allow it to lie down, or you can put them on some sort of a metal wiring or wooden wire, or like shelving, where they have a chance to cure. What we're looking for is for all of this to dry up. This may take 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. We have to gauge it. And what happens is that right now, if I go ahead and cut this right now, it's going to be very high in starch. But once the curing process begins, the onion draws out a lot of nutrients from these stems and from the root. And this is why we don't cut anything off right now. Definitely not now, because it's going to quickly rot. Also, this is a good time to inspect it, make sure it's not damaged, it's not cut anywhere. Because, for example, as I was pulling out these guys, I found that this guy, even though it looks like it's, ready for harvesting, but when I got closer, I realized it's actually soft. It's soft to touch, it's not firm. So soft ones, we discarding, either eat them if they're not moldy and rotted, or discard them now, because they will go bad. They will not store well. So what we've decided to do inside, and I'm going to bring the camera closer, is that we actually ended up using our pets, our dogs' old crates, the metal crates that we use for transportation. We opened them up, and they're going to be our shelf that we're going to be curing our onions on. So come over here closer. Go ahead and start putting them directly just like that in a single layer, or I can actually thread them through like this, allowing them to sit on a wire just like that and dry up in that way. Okay, so there's going to be plenty of airflow in here. Okay, plenty of airflow. This is a little labor intensive. I'm going to make sure there's plenty of space in between, but I can go ahead and hang them just like this. Now, in case it starts raining, we are in a shelter, so they're not going to get wet. And if there's direct sunlight, I can go ahead and hang something in the front, like tarp or something like that, so I know there's going to be no direct sunlight on them. And they're going to sit here for the next 2, maybe even 3 weeks until they are dried up. They're also going to create another layer on the onion. Because what's going to give this onion better shelf life is the fact that it's going to be layers of skin, dried skin. Okay, so all of this has to be dried before we go ahead and cut them or braid them. Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna keep working on hanging them all down. Okay, or lay them down in a single layer. Okay, friends, this is how we like to harvest and cure onions. After a couple of weeks of drying, we're gonna bring them in the house and store them for long-term storage. Some of them will last only maybe a month or two, maybe a little longer, where others 5, 6 months, even longer. Regardless, all of them require certain conditions for storage. Number one, they don't like to be stored in a plastic bag. They need airflow. So either a basket or a burlap bag or straight up on a shelf is the best way. Not refrigerator, because refrigerator has way too much moisture, which brings me to the second topic. Onions don't like moisture. So like unlike potatoes like moisture for storage. Onions don't. They like cool, dry, good airflow space. So a dry basement would work. Next thing, they don't like to be stored next to potatoes. For some reason, potatoes give out way too much moisture and onions rot fast. So don't put those two things together. Buddy, are you snoring? He's snoring. Did I bore you? You went to sleep? Goodness gracious. So these onions, some of them will last me a very long time. Those onions that don't last a long time, I'm going to preserve in a very special way. I like to make those onions shelf stable for a very, very long time. Some of those onions I'm actually going to be freeze drying. That's a separate video. If you're interested to see how I'm going to be storing onions for years to come by freeze drying, please watch that video that's going to be coming up at some point. I don't know when. But anyway, friends, I hope you are encouraged to grow onions in your own plot, in your own garden, grown organically without any chemicals. Give your family the best food you can. So I hope you are encouraged and try something new.